residents of East Palestine, Ohio, had a chance to address one of the executives from Norfolk Southern. Now, that is the company, of course, behind the massive train derailment in that town that spread toxic chemicals all across the area. And by the way, the same company that had successfully lobbied the Trump administration to kill any railroad safety measures related to braking, ECS braking systems. That lack of regulation is attributable to the derailment of this particular train. So now, during a town forum on Thursday, residents who say that they are still suffering from illnesses had been able to confront one of the railroad's operators. In fact, this representative from the rail company was told by one attendee that it is, quote, not safe here. I'm begging you, by the grace of God, please get our people out of here. So now, what he's talking about, this particular resident is saying, look, I do not feel safe. We do not feel safe to go back into our homes. We do not trust the testing that the EPA, that the government is doing. We do not trust the assurances of the company itself in saying that it is safe. We are suffering from health effects. Get us out of here. Help us relocate to somewhere that is safe, at least for the time being, until you clean up this area. Something. Some of them might not want to be, might not want to even return back to that home and just relocate completely. Now, are they going to? No, of course not. No, these companies end up never having to pay for the stuff that they end up destroying. They usually end up making the taxpayer do it. Now, let me give you more here. This is Daryl Wilson, Railroad's Assistant Vice President of Government Relations, who was at that forum, said that, quote, buying homes and moving people out of East Palestine hasn't been discussed. To which one person had responded, well, why not? Why not? Obviously, they didn't have an answer. And if they did, I mean, we probably wouldn't like it. And the answer is they don't care. And look, we also, part of the same answer is we also don't have a government that will force these companies to not only clean up the messes they cause on their own dime, by the way, but we also have a government that refuses to regulate these companies to prevent these accidents from happening in the first place. That said, the Associated Press notes that people are still scared of, whether the area will be safe for their children years from now, saying that they fear that dioxins, not yet detected, will end up causing long-term health impacts. And look, not only do the residents rightly not trust the company when they come in and they claim, oh, no, it's perfectly safe. You come back in. No, it's totally fine. They also don't trust the EPA. Now, look, I'm a lefty. I want an EPA. I want an EPA that's strong. I want an EPA that's effective. We do not have an EPA that is either of those things. Now, recently, according to their initial testing, they have suggested that there's only a low chance that any dioxins were released from the derailment. But here's the thing. The EPA has been wrong before. The EPA has been defunded. Industry has a huge impact on government agencies due to massive amounts of lobbying. The same kind of lobbying that made it so that the train companies were deregulated in the first place. And so, look, another example of the EPA not being effective was in Flint, Michigan. I mean, we all remember residents of Flint were exposed to lead, leading to lead poisoning, health impacts for an entire, group of people for their entire lives. It does not go away. Now, in that case, we have documented that the EPA had failed to act and had initially said, oh, no, don't worry. The water's totally safe. You can drink it. It's fine. But of course, it wasn't safe. It wasn't safe. And furthermore, you also had emails from the EPA, this is years ago that these were released, that showed that the organization, or the agency was skeptical of the claims made by Flint residents who were suffering, who were telling everyone, doing these kinds of forums, talking to officials, saying, my God, something is wrong with our water. Why won't you listen to us? We are telling you there's something up with our water. It is not right. It is not safe. You need to fix it. Well, the EPA, for their part, along with the Snyder government, who was the governor of Michigan at the time, were saying, oh, no, they're just trying to get more federal money. That's all they're trying to do. You know, these people. They just want more money. Let me give you the email here. This is from Debbie Baltazar, the Water Division branch chief for the EPA's Region 5, which included Michigan. Quote, I'm not so sure Flint is the community we want to go out on a limb for. Now, why would that be? Why would that be? Now you say, oh, well, the mismanagement of the money. Of course, it's mismanagement. It's mismanagement. I think we know the other reason. Why are they always assumed to mismanage the money? Could it have something to do with people that live there? In fact, she continued by saying, quote, at least without a better understanding of where all that money went. Oh, you see, they wasted the money. They wasted the money. You know how they are. They're just trying to get more money. No, they had a real problem. They had a real problem. And it took years, and it's still ongoing for them to clean up the mess that has happened in Flint. There is still more work that needs to be done. So getting back to this point, I do not trust the EPA, and neither do the people in East Palestine. Of course they distrust the government because they know there is corruption in the government due to lobbying, corporate lobbying that allows these companies to buy off our politicians. Now, getting back to this town forum, the Associated Press noted that some residents, of course, booed, laughed, and yelled, don't lie to us, when an EPA regional administrator named Deborah Shore reiterated that tests say that, oh, don't worry, the village's air is safe, totally safe. Wilson, getting back to him, the train company representative from Norfolk Southern, got worse treatment when he told residents that they feel the company feels horrible about what happened. From the deepest depths of our hearts, in Norfolk Southern, we are so sorry. We feel terrible about our train being derailed and about what's going on with you as a result of our incredibly lax safety measures. Look, this company did not feel horrible when they were, getting dividends from the billions that they did in stock buybacks. Didn't feel horrible then, knowing that they were skirting safety rules. They didn't feel horrible when they offered the residents originally a whopping $5 for their troubles. And they really didn't feel horrible because less than a week after the week of the derailment, Norfolk Southern immediately reopened the tracks without cleaning up or removing any of the contaminated soil under those tracks, which prompted one of the residents to yell, "You should have done it right the first time," because they then had announced that they were going to, okay, fine, we'll go back and we'll start cleaning things up, and we should be done by the end of April. But let's talk about why they didn't do it right the first time. Oh, because it would cost them money. Look, they came up with a revolutionary ECS brake system, and then decided, it's too expensive, I'm not going to use it. They didn't update their Civil War era technology, despite touting ECS technology as the next greatest, best, great thing. Latest and greatest, everybody. Look at this technology that we're not going to use because, that'll cost us money. We're not going to do that. Nope. Again, they don't want to do any safety reforms. They and other members of the, these railroad lobbying groups, special interest groups made up of executives in these companies that have gotten together, have opposed safety reforms, any sort of safety reforms. In fact, these railroads want to wait until after the NTSB completes its investigation. How long will that take? About a year or more. They don't want to do anything or make any significant changes to their operations until then. Until then. They don't care. They don't care. It's all about greed. It's all about corporate greed, taking as much money as possible for themselves, stuffing it in their pockets, and not taking any sort of accountability or action that will be significant. Look, it'd be a wild day if I was in charge, if I had any kind of power. Let me tell you, I'd pass regulation, some goddamn regulation, immediately. ECS brake rules. And they can cry and scream all they want. Oh, overregulation, you're so unfair. No, F off. We're going to do some regulation because obviously you guys are not going to regulate yourselves. Self-regulation is one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard. Another thing that I would want to do is to hold Norfolk Southern accountable for this accident, including paying all the damages. All the damages. At least temporary housing for everyone in that town. Hiring third-party testers not affiliated with the company at all to come and test the water there and the soil. To pay for the health care for the people that are suffering health impacts for the rest of their lives. And most importantly, again, upgrade their braking systems, upgrade their safety, and hire more people to run the trains. Look, the rail unions have been pointing this out for a very long time. There's a problem. Their scheduling system has led to massive cutbacks on trains, massive cutbacks on staff and safety. One of our viewers points out a story that I was going to do today. Betty Schooley says, I read a woman who works in the trains that her manager told her not to check any brakes unless she saw dripping oil coming off the brakes or reducing rail cars to be inspected. Yes, that is a Guardian report. I read that, and it's infuriating. It's infuriating. And this is, by the way, is a company, or at least the Guardian has obtained leaked audio where that manager in one of the largest rail companies was explaining that, you're actually doing your job too well. You're tagging too many of our train cars for repair, and that slows us down. And when we're slowed down, we don't make as much money because corporate will call us and they'll yell at management. And as management, I don't want to get yelled at. So just stop checking the trains. Specifically, stop checking the wheel bearings, which, again, according to the preliminary NTSB report, this was a wheel bearing malfunction where it caught on fire. But don't check the wheel bearings That'll slow us down. That same employee, ex-employee, goes into, how she wasn't properly trained in order to actually do maintenance to fix these trains, to do anything. And again, the bare minimum, other than the bare minimum, all in order to generate more profits for the executives and the shareholders in the company. That's it. That's it. Again, getting back to the point where all of this is a result of corporate greed, which has led to deregulation, and deregulation leads to destruction. That's the moral of this story.